legacy. Last week on Rosh Hashanah, I spoke about ownership, the idea of being an owner of CNT versus a renter of services. I don't know if you gave it some thought, but this is the time of year when being an owner means so much. It is the high holy days, the days of awe, a time for reflection, a time for renewal, a time for commitment to ourselves and each other, and a time for tzedakah. While we are all thinking today about what we want our next year to look like, what about our ultimate legacies? What do you want your legacy to be? One of my favorite quotes is very relevant. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. It's a very powerful statement. The idea of tzedakah, or giving, is found throughout the Torah as a key part of being Jewish and being part of our Jewish lives. The idea of giving a young child a tzedakah box is to instill the culture of giving to our next generations. The step of adding CNT to our wills, trusts, life insurance policies, and so on is often an unspoken act of tzedakah. At our upcoming Yizkor service, we honor those who have left us this past year. We strive to make their memories a blessing. While honoring them, think about your own legacy and how you would want to contribute to the future of Judaism, our culture, our spiritual paths, and the next generation of congregates who will sit right here. Think about making your own memory a blessing by creating a legacy during your lifetime for CNT. I personally want our home to be in this community for decades to come. Jim and I have no children of our own, but we have a huge desire to help perpetuate the Jewish culture and keep it strong. I do want to have a legacy at CNT that I did my part for Reform Judaism. To quote one of our Legacy Society founders, wealthy or not, we all have the ability to respond, and even if your current circumstances don't permit a legacy during your lifetime, you can fulfill that vision after your passing. Responsibility is acknowledging your ability to respond and make a personal choice to strengthen the fabric of our community for future generations. Our founder then went on to explain that he wants to know that his link to the past that spans thousands of years will, by his response to the call, be a bridge to the future. May we all be a part of that bridge for the future, for our shul, for our Judaism, and may we be remembered for the acts of kindness made during our lifetimes, fulfilling the mitzvah of giving. I asked you all last week, if you have not already done so, to please take the action to commit to do something for Ner Tamid in your will or final plans. You will be joining dozens of other members who are leaving a legacy to CNT. But I also ask that none of us wait. If you have questions about our program, you can contact Linda Rosen in the Temple office, talk to me, or talk to Larry Lerner, who is our legacy chair. There are also some trifold handouts in the lobby right now. On the front, it simply reads, "What do you want your Jewish legacy to be?"
.540, we begin with Eli, Eli.
True. God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
This is the hour of memory, and this is our house of comfort. Wounded by loss, we retreat from life. Our synagogue gathers us in. Into this place, we bring stories and prayers, unanswered questions, tears that need to be shed, lives recollected and carried within us, moments of courage and laughter and pain. This day embraces them all. This place embraces us all. Now the heart opens in sorrow, for we are time's subjects, and all that we love we must lose. So let us hold fast to the love that remains and cherish the light of the sun. Today, all of us walk the mourner's path. Together, may we find strength.
546. The traditional Yizkor prayer asks God to remember the souls of our loved ones and to shelter them for eternity. But the Yizkor service on Yom Kippur has significance beyond the prayer itself. This is a moment set apart for solitary reflection, an opportunity to fulfill a sacred obligation, and it is a time to feel the physical and emotional closeness of community, the presence of other people who know what we have been through, because they have been through it also. At Yizkor, we see the sorrow in one another's eyes. As the number 7 is a Jewish symbol of wholeness and holiness, our Yizkor service offers 7 ways to reflect on loss and memory, grief and healing. We choose alone and together from among these diverse lights.
Kenya
Yom Kippur without my father and without my mother is not Yom Kippur. From the blessing of their hands on my head, just the tremor has remained, like the tremor of an engine that didn't stop even after their death.
548. At birth, a miracle. You light the spark in every human soul.
Emerging into light, we breathe it in.
The neshama, your sacred gift of life. And every day, every breath comes to us as a miracle.
The light within us, unique and precious, is with us always while we live.
When breath has ceased and life has gone, the neshama returns to you.
And the spark that lived inside the ones we love, unique and precious, beautiful and good, is theirs no more.
Their light is ours, their radiance now burns in us, eternal flame of memory.
So we light candles to keep our love alive, to bring their light into the world.
A light unique and precious, ours to treasure while we live. A ne'er to me that lights our days and gives us strength to journey through the nights. The death of a loved one is the most profound of all sorrows. The grief that comes with such a loss is intense and multifaceted, affecting our emotions, our bodies, and our lives. Grief is preoccupying and depleting. Emotionally, grief is a mixture of raw feelings such as sorrow, anguish, anger, regret, longing, fear, and deprivation. Grief may be experienced physically as exhaustion, emptiness, tension, sleeplessness, or loss of appetite. Grief invades our daily lives in many sudden gaps and changes, like that empty place at the dinner table or the sudden loss of affection and companionship, as well as in many new apprehensions, adjustments, and uncertainties. The loss of a loved one throws every aspect of our lives out of balance. The closer we were to the person who died, the more havoc the loss creates. Love does not die quickly, hence to grieve is also to celebrate the depth of the union. Tears are then the jewels of remembrance, sad but glistening with the beauty of the past. So grief in its bitterness marks the end, but it also is praise to the one who is gone. 553 at the bottom. Your absence has gone through me like thread through a needle. Everything I do is stitched with it.
Adonai li velo
555. Adonai, how hard to fathom that we are worthy of your care. How astonishing your awareness of us, for we are like the morning mist, our days a passing shadow. At dawn we flourish anew, by dusk we wither and fade, sending us back to earth's dust. You tell us, return you who belong to humanity, if only we were wise and understood what lies ahead. For when we die, we carry nothing away. We leave our possessions behind. So mark the wholehearted, take note of the upright, for there is purpose in a life of integrity. Adonai, you replenish the lives of all who revere you, and those who trust in you will never despair.
Sinai, El Harim, Me'ain, Yavo Ezri. Sinai, El Harim, Me'ain, Yavo Ezri. Shamayim va'aretz.
559. Do not grieve for me too much. I am a spirit confident of my rights. Death is only an incident and not the most important which happens to us in the state of being. On the whole, especially since I met you, my darling one, I have been happy, and you have taught me how noble a woman's heart can be. If there is anywhere else, I shall be on the lookout for you. Meanwhile, look forward, feel free, rejoice in life, cherish the children, guard my memory, and God bless you.
Unnameable God, I feel you with me at every moment. You are my food, my drink, my sunlight, and the air I breathe. You are the ground I have built on, and the beauty that rejoices my heart.
561. When I cry, my voice trembles with fear. When I call out, it cracks with anger.
How can I greet the dawn with song when darkness eclipses the rising sun?
To whom shall I turn when the clouds of the present eclipse the rays of tomorrow?
Turn me around to yesterday, that I may be consoled by its memories.
Were not the seas split asunder? Did we not once walk together through the waters to the dry side?
Did we not bless the bread that came forth from the heavens?
Did your voice not reach my ears and direct my wanderings?
The waters, the lightning, the thunder remind me of yesterday's triumphs.
Let the past offer proof of tomorrow. Let it be my comforter and guarantor.
I have been here before, known the fright and found your companionship.
I enter the sanctuary again to await the echo of your promise. 565.
Footprints. Everything will remember that I was here. The ships will be the color of my clothing. The birds will use my voice for singing. The fishermen on the rock will ponder my poem. The river will follow my footprints. Page 567. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light. Long, long after the star itself is gone, and so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days, These are the ways we remember.
We continue reading the reflections through page 576 as we think back to love and loss in our own personal lives.
You are not beautiful exactly. You are beautiful inexactly. You let a weed grow by the mulberry and a mulberry grow by the house. So close in the personal quiet of a windy night, it brushes the wall and sweeps away the day till we sleep. A child said it, and it seemed true. Things that are lost are all equal, but it isn't true. If I lost you, the air wouldn't move, nor the tree grow. Someone would pull the weed, my flower. The quiet wouldn't be yours. If I lost you, I'd have to ask the grass to let me sleep.
(579). Adonai, through all generations we have found our home in you. Before the mountains rose up, before the birth pangs of the earth, you alone have been with us, steadfast and constant for all time. In the end, you return us to dust, saying, "Come home now, daughters and sons of Adam and Eve, you are mortal." In your sight 1,000 years pass in an instant, like a fleeting watch in the night, but how brief the span of our lives. Our years flow by in a dream, we sleep away our days. In the morning we blossom in beauty, in the evening we wither away. Burnt like grass in the blasting heat of summer, we perish like chaff on the wind. A human life may be 80 years and 10, or 80 years for those who are blessed with strength. So many days consumed by toil and troubles. Then our time is cut short, and too soon we go into the dark. So teach us to number our days, that we may bring home a heart of wisdom. Give us a sense of your presence. Nourish us with your compassion. Knowing your love at the dawn of our life, let us live our days in contentment. May our moments of joy surpass the times of struggle, and may we taste the sweetness of each precious day. May the work of our hands bring fulfillment. 585. The sixth candle is one of gratitude.
If some messenger were to come to us with the offer that death should be overthrown, but with the one inseparable condition that birth should also cease? If the existing generation were given the chance to live forever, but on the clear understanding that never again would there be a child, or a youth, or first love, never again new persons with new hopes, new ideas, new achievements, ourselves for always and never any others, could the answer be in doubt? When we fear death's decree, let these bring us solace, the memory of loved ones who have gone before us, a vision of generations to come, through whom we reach far into the future, beyond our own lives.
592, the seventh candle on finding peace. One morning shortly after my mother died, a hesitant tap on the shoulder stopped me as I left the synagogue where I had just finished saying the mourner's Kaddish. I turned to face a fellow morning service regular, a tall gray-haired gentleman with a football player's thick build. "I don't mean to be presumptuous," he said in a soft voice. "I know you're very sad right now, but I wanted to tell you that I went through that too when my dad died several years ago. And here's the thing. Believe it or not, I'm as close to my dad now as when he was alive. Maybe even closer. Because I have come to understand him better. He is inside me. I hear his voice. We are still that close." Then he smiled and waved goodbye, leaving me to ponder words that I began to understand only years later. What he meant, I think, was that our dead inhabit us like ghosts. The trick, as he knew then, and I have learned since, is to befriend them rather than to have them haunt us. They will greet us on sad anniversaries as well as on times of joy. We will imagine a deceased parent's response to her grandchild's arrival, or we will call back from memory the words or actions of the one person to whom we would have turned were he or she still there. And eventually, when we hear that voice again, it will bring not just pain, but comfort and resolution.
Show
One of the functions of Yizkor is to get us to reflect on the meaning of the lives of our loved ones. And in so doing, it also encourages us to reflect on the meaning of our relationship with our loved ones. We look at their values, the good times we spent on the holidays and the holy days, and if we are fortunate, we feel blessed. But no matter how good our relationship with our loved ones, there will always be moments of regret, words that were said that we cannot take back, and things that we wish we had done differently. There is the classic story of the man who, after a 50-year marriage, learned that his wife had passed away. And at the funeral, the man spoke to his rabbi out of his grief. And he said, "Rabbi, I truly loved my wife. I really did. And once I almost told her so." Perhaps the function of Yizkor is to make us not only reflective of our past relationships, but of our present ones. What if tomorrow never comes? What if this were the last day we would spend with our loved ones, and next year we would be sitting here saying Kaddish for them? Would we have regrets? What would be words left unsaid? Would there be deeds left undone? Or conversely, what if this were our last year of life? Would we take the opportunity to try and make a tikkun, a repair for those we had hurt, a softening of the heart for those we had nurtured a grudge? There is a seemingly harsh verse in the Torah that always gives me pause. The Torah says in Exodus 34:7, how God keeps a steadfast love for thousands of years, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin. But then it says something very troubling. God visits the iniquity of the fathers on the children and on the children's children to the third and the fourth generation. On the one hand, the verse is meant to show that God is much more loving than he is punishing. God's love is steadfast for 1,000 years. But on the other hand, is it right that the sins of a parent are visited upon children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren? Yet there is a measure of truth to this. For when there is hurt in a family, it spreads throughout the family system. Children are cautioned, don't get involved with so-and-so. Stay away from Aunt so-and-so. We don't talk to that side of the family. And the cousins and the grandkids grow up, and whole sides of families never know each other. And not because of physical distance, but emotional distance. This past year, I officiated at many funerals. And there was a period of time I was really disheartened, because when I was talking with families, a sad pattern was emerging. When it came time to talk about the family tree, there was that pause. Yes, Rabbi, there were 3 sons and 2 daughters, but one daughter is estranged. Another son died from a drug overdose. The other one we haven't heard from in years. Or, yes, we had a brother, but they haven't spoken in over 50 years, so don't mention him. Oh, yes, he had 2 biological children, but only mention the stepchildren because the biological children in here are here, and the bio children, they haven't spoken in years. In such a moment, I cannot begin to touch upon the nature of such relationships, nor can I necessarily repair what has been broken for many, many years in the family system. And the pattern, although not typical, is not unusual either. So many families nurture hurts and grudges, give the silent treatment. And too many at some point make that decision to stop talking, and a day becomes a month becomes a year, becomes decades, becomes forever. The irony is that if you would ask most people, what is most important, they would not say business or money, they would say family. Yizkor reminds us that there will come a day when tomorrow never comes, and we will have to make peace with what could have been. Relationships that were broken and never repaired, family members who never got a chance to know each other because of something that happened that no one knows. It has happened in all of our families. And Yom Kippur, and especially Yizkor, challenges us to move beyond our pain and embrace the possibility that things could be different. It is perhaps telling that Yizkor comes at the time that it does in our services, right before Ne'ilah, right before the gates of heaven begin to close. We've got one last chance for tshuva, to turn around and look really hard at our lives and what we might do differently, to look into our souls and to see if the sadness we bear is worth the weight of being right, the regret we hold so dear more precious than our pain, the price of forgiveness more costly than the gift of love, the loved ones who we remember, our parents, our spouses, our children, our friends, are remembered now because of what they taught us, and those lessons are written indelibly upon our soul. Yizkor is not just about remembering them, it is about honoring their life lessons and letting those lessons speak to us once again. Years ago, there was a movie called Love Story. The tagline to the movie was, "Love means never having to say you're sorry." Great movie, lousy tagline. Because love, true love, does mean having to say, I'm sorry. It does mean that in these three simple words, I am sorry, love matures beyond friendship or a schoolyard crush, that love grows beyond the many moments that we take each other for granted. It is in these words of reconciliation and a desire to find the best in each other that love wins and becomes holy. Yizkor asks us to look for that moment of love today, for there will come a time when tomorrow never comes. And when it does, we do not want to feel the sorrow of what might have been, but rather the joy of love, which is stronger than death.
Sometimes late at night, I lie awake and watch her sleeping. She's lost in peaceful dreams, so I turn out the lights and lay there in the dark. And the thought crosses my mind, if I never wake up in the morning, would she ever doubt the way I feel about her in my heart? If tomorrow never comes, will she know how much I loved her? Did I try in every way to show her every day that she's my only one? And if my time on earth were through, and she must face this world without me, is the love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? 'Cause I've lost loved ones in my life who never knew how much I loved them. And now I live with the regret my true feelings for them never were revealed. So I made a promise to myself to say each day how much she means to me, and avoid that circumstance. There's no second chance to tell her how I feel. And if tomorrow never comes, will she know how much I loved her? Did I try in every way to show her every day that she's my only one? And if my time on earth is through, and she must face this world without me, is the love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? So tell that someone that you love just what you're thinking of. If tomorrow never comes.
597. Our loved ones live in our broken hearts, and at times that brings some measure of healing. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, but the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us. And these are the names on our lips and in our hearts from last Yom Kippur to this: Alan Asher, Claire Bass, Judith Berlinger, Leo Bodner, Stacy Bromberg, Stephen Bush, Esther Kapp, Trudy Korber, Madeline Posen Cowan, Edward Dolly, Hannah Eisenberg, Mike Ensign, Roseanne Enton, Avi Feldman, Lowell Thomas Ferguson, George Flushman, Janet Frocht, Dominica Gallo, Marilyn Glavinsky, Reuben Goldstein, Anna Green, Sylvia Greenis, Florence Greenman, Miriam Deschatz, Bat Hanna, Marshall Harnick, Donald Herman, Derek Hirschman, Linda Hoffman, Juanita Johnson, Norman Johnson, Fred Jones, Solomon Cam, Erwin Kishner, Lois Krashen, Berta Kropp, Dr. Michael Lax, Florence Lazar, Marcia Lewis, Jerry Lewis, Norman Lenevsky, Jerry Linker, Thelma Marco, Betty Matter, Leslie Mooney, David Nathan, Alan Nathanson, Madeline Nitzkin, Robin O'Hara, David Ostrov, Richard Paolini, Stanley J. Parnas, Brian Polavina, Luis Silva Robbins, Myra Rosenberg, Temma Rosenberg, Paul Schreiman, Gail Seltzer, Teresa Silber, Marcia Smith, B. Solomon, Sina Spindell, Wendy Schwartz Sturman, Vera Stern, Muriel Stevens, Aaron Stolberg, Millie Supe, Lily Tokarski, Eve Tucker, Robert Watman, Anna Mae Weintraub, Lois Weissman, Cloud Wilton, Harold Youngman, Paula Zimmerman, and Michael Zone. If you'd like to say the name of someone who died this past year and was not mentioned, please stand to say their name. We rise to recite El Malay Rachamim, 598.
Shalom al mishkavam v'nomar amen.
Together, merciful God, God Most High, let there be perfect rest for the souls of our loved ones who have gone into eternity. May they find shelter in your presence among the holy and pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold them close to you forever. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May they find a home in you, and may they rest in peace. Together we say, Amen. 606, Yit Gadol, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma Divrach Yerutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chayedechol Beit Yisrael, B'agalav Izman Kariv, V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Almei Almaya, Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh, V'yitodar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shmei Dekudsha Barichu, Leila u'leila mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram bi'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav,
Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'yimaru. Amen.
Let perfect peace abound. Let there be abundant life for us and for all Israel. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, all Israel, and all who dwell on earth. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. That concludes our Yizkor service. We invite the choir to come up as we continue on page 612. The long day is over, and the gates are closing. Slowly day fades into dusk. Soon the earth will darken. Our bodies weak and weary, our inner strength undiminished. This day has been a gift, uncluttered time, free from hurry and routine, appointments or assignments. A time to face our sin and imperfections, our dreams and yearnings for the life we want to live. A time to leave the clamor of the world and attend to the voice within. Long ago, the temple gates were locked at dusk. So too at this hour, the gates of Yom Kippur begin to close. Have we done all that needed to be done? Said everything that needed to be said? The gates of God's compassion never close, but soon enough our lives close in on us. Now in the silence of the soul, now before the holy day comes to an end, release the unshed tears, the deepest prayers locked in our hearts.